Rahubat. Greetings and good morning. Rahubat Yasar, Rahubat. Again, greetings. And I'm sorry, not good morning, but greetings in Grand Horizon. Greetings in Grand Horizon. Um, let's just jump into it. Hold on, I don't really have to do this, but I do want y'all gonna have to excuse the noise. Um, Let me start my introduction. Hold on. All right, so let's just get right into it. I'm gonna do another video and edit it, but the purpose of this is so this is why Dr. York or Dr. Malachi York pled guilty. Um, you see, here's the thing. Yes, there is a video online on YouTube or maybe on other different platforms where the master teacher, Baba Yanun, His Excellency, aka Dr. York, there are videos a video that's surfacing throughout the internet where he pleads guilty. But that does just because he pled guilty doesn't mean that he is actually guilty. What one must understand is if you yourself never went to court or never had to stand trial or anything like that, then you watching and seeing someone plead guilty will make you think that, oh dang, that person is actually guilty. It don't work like that. And I'm speaking through experience because the master teacher Baba Yanun, His Excellency, he's always taught me to use right knowledge. What is right knowledge? Right knowledge is the science of sound right reasoning, meaning that you have experience, evidence, and reasoning. Meaning that with those three things, with experience, evidence, and reasoning, you put all three of them together to come out with a 360 to 720 degree answer of right knowledge. Now, I'm saying all this to say that, first of all, what sparked this conversation, or what sparked me to say this is, I don't know why, but things in my life happen different and like kind of weird sometimes. But since last week, people that I've been coming across or interacting with, whether it's going to the gym, going to the movies, going to work, grocery shopping, just the regular daily errands and chores that you do in your everyday life. Excuse me. Training martial arts, it doesn't matter. Going for my jogs, doesn't matter. So I'm just been I've been crossing paths with a lot of people that is different. So I might talk to someone that's a Nuwapian or Sabian, and you know we're discussing Dr. York's case and things like that, and we know he's innocent based off of the evidence. Um, you know, you might come across someone that they might not be in the WAP, don't say being, but they've been on Time Array before. You know what I'm saying? Like these people, uh, they had that experience, and from not even my perspective, but from what people tell me, they have always enjoyed spending time on Time Array. It doesn't matter if you was in the WAP or not. Everyone that was on there enjoyed it. It could be, you know what I'm saying, like a coworker that once again knew of the land, someone from Eatonton, Georgia. Lately, the topic of Bobby Unknown pleading guilty has been coming up. And, you know, there's some people that are like, hey, well, you know, I respect him, I like him, but I'm just kind of biased because he pled guilty. There's some people that's like, well, he did plead guilty. And these people, they're misinformed. They don't comprehend. They don't understand. They don't understand. And that is the whole purpose of this video right here and me going live, because from time to time again, no one really breaks down the facts. And I know I'm talking, I'm going to get to the point, but I just have to explain why. But even on I'll say on YouTube channels and different people's platforms on YouTube, no one has ever, in my opinion, has ever really broke down and explained why the master teacher, Dr. Malachi York, or um, the Honorable Baba Yanun has pled guilty. It's like, well, no one ever gets to it. But for someone that actually did have to plead guilty, like myself, I know the facts. I know exactly why that man did it. And up until that point in my path, in my life, when I was in court and I had to plead guilty, then that's when I got it. That's when in Bobby Unknown, or aka Dr. Malachi York, he was the only one I was thinking about when I had to plead guilty. So um let me just talk, tell you why I pled guilty and why I had to plead guilty and what happened to me in that situation. Um, and then which is the same exact reason why I did is the exact same reason why Bobby Unknown did, and that's the whole point of it. So anyway, some of what I'm about to say, even Rizza Islam, he even spoke on this. He even said that if you have a case, so build on that point about Rizza Islam, I'm gonna just go into it. So if you have a case, right? Let's say you got to go to court and you have a case, and there's like 3 to 5 court dates, but each court date they're offering you. Let's say you have 5 court dates. That was me. I can use myself. I had 5 court dates. The first court date, they said, um, 1 year. They said 1 year in jail, and then I think like 3 months probation when you get out. We went to that court date. I said, nah, I'm innocent. Let's go to trial. Then we have the second court date. On the second court date, they say, okay, 3 years probation if you plead guilty. I said, um, no, I'm innocent. Let's go to trial. Um, so then now we're at the third court date. So then they said 2 years probation if you plead guilty. I said, yet again, nah, I'm innocent. Let's go to trial. I had all the evidence to prove that I was innocent. I had a bomb ass, good ass attorney. I guess they thought that you know what I'm saying? I guess that I couldn't afford an attorney, things like that. You know what I'm saying? Cause they try you. They'll definitely try you. But I had a one of the best attorneys in Atlanta. So this is like the fourth um court date. They say 2 years probation, plead guilty. Basically, y'all get the point. I'm like, no. So it went all down to the last court date. On that last court date, they tried to say, oh, well, because I never missed a court date, by the way. There's like, because I missed a court date, they tried to hit me with that BS. Um, then I was supposed to be arrested right then and there or something like that. My attorney said, nice try, wrong guy. Get that out of there. So the last court date, they said, well, you know what? Um, Hold on, someone said, if you're innocent, always plead innocent, even if you fail. What did that say? Even if you fail, stay true, man. True, and I get that point, Rebecca. I definitely get that point, Rebecca J. Miller. But let me finish telling it, and I'm going to tell you why I didn't say I was innocent. Um, so, anyways, it went down to, and this is why I accepted the deal. They offered me 6 months probation, and what my attorney did was, come here. We, we took a recess, whatever. We went to another room. My attorney talked to me, and my attorney. By the way, I was being charged with aggravated stalking, and my attorney had to drop down to stalking. I'm saying because, and I'm not ashamed because I wasn't stalking no one. I'm not no doing stalker. The people involved, they were clearly lying on me, and you could clearly see that in the evidence. So when I went to the room with my attorney, he said, "Look, man, this is like our fifth court day, bro. They dropped that thing all the way down to 6 months. So I'm at 6 months probation, 6 months probation. So I'm like, yo, I'm innocent. Like, I got the evidence." He said, listen to me. Because I was waiting there was other people's courts. I mean, not courts, but there was other people's trials and I guess hearings going on or whatever you want to call it. So for a little minute there, I was out there. I could see the judge. I could see other people's trials and stuff like that. Then they take me into the room, and my attorney talks to me, you know, and that's how it normally, each court they normally went. So my attorney was like, listen, they're gonna lie on you. I said, what? He said they dropped it all the way down to 6 months probation. He said, honestly, bro, I'm telling you, it can't get no better than that. So I'm like, but I'm innocent. I'm innocent. He said, they know you're innocent, and I know you're innocent. But the DA in their office, they got to get their ranks. That's what he said. He said they got to keep. They want a conviction. What do you call it? I guess a conviction number. He was basically like they got to get their ranks. They got to keep their conviction rates up. And there were other attorneys that were like, yeah, man, we looked at your case, like their timelines not adding up. The people that were going to testify against me, or the so-called witnesses, no, the three dudes involved that liked the girl involved, none of their stories added up. It was clearly that there was lying. It was clear that there was lying. When I subpoenaed the video footage is not showing anything that they said. So the video footage is showing my innocence. Everything I said that went down and happened, that's on the video footage that I subpoenaed. So there's all this evidence showing that I'm innocent. But I said, listen, if we have all this, why can't we just go to trial and win? My attorney said, because they're going to lie on you. My attorney said, he said, because they're going to lie on you. And I said, but he said, even though you got video footage, even though the evidence is showing that you right and you're innocent, we can't chance that with a jury. He said a jury of your peers, of your so-called peers, they would, they could just, you might have a jury to just, you know what, it's just something about this dude I don't like. He's guilty. And he said, if we go to trial and I lose, then I would spend 10 years in jail. When he told me that, my heart just dropped, bro. Like the pain and the stress that I felt at that time, it was bad, man. I started to tear up. I was a younger man at the time. I'm telling you, I started to tear up. I called my father and I said, this is what's going on. They're offering me 6 months probation if I plead guilty. Um, but I know I'm innocent. But my attorney just said that a jury, it's a possibility that a jury may not, even with all the evidence showing that I'm innocent, there's a possibility that a jury can convict you. That jury might say, yeah, all that evidence, screw that evidence. We don't like him. He's guilty. So then I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know what to do. My attorney's like, if you want to go to trial, then we could go. But I'm telling you, they're going to lie on you. Those 3 witnesses that she claimed that she got, they're going to lie on you. So I was hurt. I was devastated. And my father said, I'm going to tell you this right now. Listen to that attorney. And then he hung up the phone. And I'm sitting there, I'm tearing up, I'm hurt now. So, and I'm hurt and I'm crying because I had to do something till this day hurts as hell. To this day, it breaks me down. To this day, I can't get over that. I had to go in that courtroom. They brought out this big ass book. It wasn't even the Bible. See, this is the stuff that people don't tell you. Most people don't know. I didn't put my hand on the Bible and swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. There was a big, like, big a book of laws and records, and I had to put my hand on that. Like I'm telling y'all, man. Like a lot of people don't know. You're not gonna know until you actually experience it. You're not gonna know until you go through it. So I put my hand on whatever big ass book that was, and I said, yeah, tell the truth, so help me God, blah, 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 whatever I don't remember what they said. I had to repeat what they said. And then that's when they came with that paperwork. It's almost like what 50 Cent said. 50 Cent said, they're gonna hurt you with paper. When they slide that piece of paper over to you, that's the real gangster. Cause that piece of paper hurts. And that's what I went through. They chatting stuff up. Oh, we could use this case against you if something like this ever happens again. Blah, 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 blah. And they said, how do you plead? The judge knew. I was looking at their faces. I said, the judge, the DA, All of them are in on it. They all know I'm innocent. But because they want to get their conviction rates up, or they want to keep their conviction rates high, they're forcing me to plead guilty. So when she said, how do you plead? I said, guilty. And I couldn't hold it anymore. Man, them tears started coming down so damn fast. Because that was, if that's not the hardest thing, that's definitely one of the hardest things. That's in the top 3 hardest things that I ever had to do in my life. And that was plead guilty to a case that I knew I was innocent. I knew I was right. I knew that I was being lied on. They said it. So, um, we went, once that was done, and we went back into the I guess recess room or whatever. The attorney, the other attorney, everyone came up to me. Hey bro, don't worry about it, man. Like, you got 6 months probation. It's over now. Um, yeah, like, and they all admit it. Yeah, they're lying. They're clearly lying. They just trying to get their conviction rate up. The witnesses, none of their stories are lining up. Is BS. And then it's like, it sucks that because the witnesses are lying, if they got on trial, or they got on the stand and testified, they would have, like, everything would have just been a lie. And what I was facing is just, it's painful, yo. It was painful. It's very hurtful for me to have to plead guilty to something I did not do. And that, to this day, that's one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. And me just thinking about it, is that pain is still there. So, long story short, I did my 6 month probation and everything got expunged. Now, I'm saying all this to say, I know I kind of went off a little bit, but in the Dr. Malachi York case, when I did that, when I pleaded guilty, it made me think of Bobby Anoon, because he was the only person that I've ever witnessed um, do that and be innocent. So I will always question that. Like, dang, why would you plead guilty to something that you didn't do? Like, I never caught that. Like, but at that moment, now I knew. So when first of all, you will understand, when we're talking about Dr. Malachi York, when he pled guilty, what happened to me is what happened to him. They did the same thing. They had Dr. York's one of, I guess maybe one or some of his mates locked up, people that he loved and cared about locked up, and they were being tortured. You know what I mean? Like, I think he was locked up for about like a year. And if you look at the video, you can see he looks miserable. He looks like he been through it. At first, what they don't tell you, Dr. York actually pled not guilty. In the beginning, he pled not guilty. But after being locked up for a year, after being tortured, after his loved ones were locked up, they gave him that offer again, and so that the people that he loved could be set free. That's why he pleaded guilty, because the people that he loved, he was trying to set them free. And then at the same time, the I'll just say the ops. I'm sorry, the ops or the accusers, they were all going to lie on him, which they did. So when people say, well, why did he plead guilty? Why did For a plea deal or certain deals, they know they're lying on you. They know they're bullshitting you. They know that, like, the judge, and it's weird because all this stuff is legal. That's the crazy thing about it. But the judge, the attorneys, the lawyers, saying that the bailiff, all of them are in on it. And if my story makes any sense, if you could kind of comprehend what I've been through, what I'm going through, no, we're not going through, but what I went through at that time, that what I know what that's like. And that's why the master teacher pled guilty, because they offered him, there was a deal. His loved ones were locked up. He was trying to free his loved ones. Um, he also recanted that I think it's called a reversal or something like that, where he actually went back and said he withdrew his guilty plea, and he withdrew it and put in not guilty plea. So it's like that is the, if you've never been to court, then you wouldn't know, but that is the reason why he pled guilty. It's not because he's actually guilty. It's not because he thinks he's guilty or he's, no, it's a deal, man. To shorten everything up, he had to for his people. Remember, he had loved ones, his wife, one of his wives was there. He was trying to free the women that were there. That's why. And I don't know um everything that basically, saying went down in that aspect of it, but that basically sums up why he pleaded guilty, because he was being tortured. He wanted to free his loved ones, and how you see how I was being lied on, he was being lied on. And look what happened to me. They said, listen, if you go to trial, they're gonna lie on you. There's attorneys. A group of attorneys told me that. And they said, and if you go to trial, because a random jury, they could just be like, man, I don't really like this dude. I don't like him. They could, come across information about you, whatever, and just say guilty off. Like I said, how's that legal? I said, how's that? I was hurt. So I know what the master teacher went through. I know some of what he's going through in that aspect of having to plead guilty or plead guilty to something that you did not do. Just because you plead guilty, it does not mean that you are actually guilty. It's not what, until you ever go to court, it's a game, bruh. This is really, the master teacher will always say a courtroom is a court, and a court is where games are played. And until that day when I had to walk the path that the master teacher walked, I never caught and understood what that meant. But it is a game. Going to that courtroom it's a game. You gotta know the rules of the game. But that's it. That's all. I just want to explain exactly why he pled guilty, the best way I could. That doesn't mean that he was actually guilty. Like I said, he was trying to get his people freed, and that kind of really sums up, because he was gonna get lied on, and he wanted to free his wife and the women that were there with him. I know I kind of went. I could have just started with that, said that, but I did have to explain myself so that you could understand. Cause sometimes things is emotional. Sometimes things is spiritual. So if you comprehend the emotion and the mental state and the spiritual level that an individual is on when they plead guilty, or just even being in that type of environment, it will help you comprehend and understand exactly why this man pled guilty. He didn't plead guilty because he's actually guilty. He pled guilty because he was under duress. And that him being under duress, which you could clearly see that he was under duress, meaning that he was just stressed the hell out. He didn't know what he was doing. And he did a guilty plea under duress. So Dr. Malachi York, Baba Yanun is an innocent man. And when he pled guilty, he was under duress, and he was being forced to plead guilty he was going to get lied on. And he just wanted to free his loved ones that were in the jail with them. Because they told him, I mean, you plead guilty, we're going to let all of them go. That's one of the things that was said. But with that being said, I just want to thank you for listening. Thank you for your time. If that's all, that's everything. You've been tuning into IAMHAR Podcast. I'm your host. Until next time, peace, love, and unity. Wadu.